we have a very clear agenda for the session. I'm going to take about 20 minutes, and in the 20-minute window, I would be discussing about what changes have happened to the CFA program for 2020, 2021, 2022. Uh, then we would be building some sort of a strategy for each of the three levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. Then we would also be looking at some of the very finer changes, which are not kind of visible on the surface, but very important from either preparation or strategy perspective. And then after that, I would be trying and answering your queries, right? So that's roughly the game plan that we have. So I'm going to get started with my session right away. During the session, if you feel that there is anything that you would like to ask, what you can simply do is keep on posting your queries on the YouTube chat box. And then once my initial 15-20 minute discussion is done, then I would be trying and answering those queries. Also, this video is going to remain on the YouTube, and I would also be putting in timestamps. So for example, level 2 candidate, if he directly wants to jump to section number 3, that particular timestamp would be available in the description. So we have that option as well. So first thing, my personal read on the situation of all the changes, to me it seems like a very positive news for all of us. And I wanted to take this opportunity and congratulate CFA Institute for bringing this change. I think this is a change that candidate has been requesting for quite some time, and finally it has come, and I think it has come at the right time. So let's look at what kind of changes they've done. So the first thing that is important for us to know now is that the December 2020 exam is going to be the last paper-based examination. Now, this examination would be available for level 1, level 2, and level 3. After that, from 2021 onwards, all the examinations now would automatically become the computer-based testing examination. In general, prior to this, level 1 exam used to happen twice a year. Now, candidate will have 4 windows in a year to write the examination, right? So if you look at this, 2021 onwards, if you're a level 1, you can write examination of level 1 either in the month of Feb, May, August, or November. So there's a plenty of flexibility for you to plan your examinations. If you're a level 2 candidate, the schedule is slightly different in 2021 and 2022. So 2022 onwards, the exams are going to be continuously on February and August, right? So that's where we're going to have continuous examination. But in 2021, we just have one change, that instead of having level 2 in the month of Feb, we will be having that examination in the month of May, right? So this is a transition period adjustment that they have done. So in the 2021, we have May and August exam, and 2022 and onwards, we have February and August level 2 exams, which means level 2 now happens twice a year. And if you've ever listened to any of my video on level 2 or level 3, that was one of the biggest concern I used to have and candidates used to have, that if something goes wrong, you had to wait for 1 long year to take the examination again. Now the problem is solved, right? Now we don't have to worry. We have exams twice a year. Doesn't mean we would not give our best shot. It just means it gives us a little more options to work with. And again, level 3 is twice a year. So we have window available in May and November, right? So that's a broader change. Then as against a 6-hour, the CBT exams, which means the 2021 onwards exams are going to be 4.5-hour window, which is going to be 2.25 hours of 2 sessions, like how we used to have 3 hours in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. Now we'll have 2.25 into 2. And there would be an optional break of 30 minutes in between. Then topic weights remain same, nothing changes. You still get to carry the same calculator, which is your Texas Instrument. The average time per question remains same. I'm not saying the total questions are remaining same, but the average time per question that you get is going to remain same. Another good news, now it's not 1-day exam. It's a 10-day window, right? So you get to choose. So they'll give you a 10-day window within which you can decide when you want to take the examination. You can also schedule the time. It does not necessarily have to be that morning 8 type or morning 9 type of a schedule. You get some flexibility there. And instead of 192 locations, now we get 400 locations. And I think that's again phenomenal, because a lot of people would, travel from different cities to here, Pune and Mumbai, or, larger cities. Now we get more flexibility. Okay, so these are the broad changes. I have not got into nitty-gritties yet. But if you're a CFA candidate, or if you're someone who's planning to get into CFA program, this is something that you want to know. Level 1 4 times a year, level 2 twice a year, level 3 twice a year. Right? That's roughly the broader map that we're looking at, and all the exams now become computer-based exams. So that was my helicopter view and overview of the discussion. Now, next 5 minutes, we will discuss certain strategies for the CFA level 1 candidates, or the candidates who are planning to enter into the CFA level 1 regime. Okay, so in general, for any CFA level 1 candidate who is either already in the program or who is planning to get inside the program, the way I look at this, we have 3 options. Okay, the first option is that you take your level 1 exam. Now, this is for level 1. And it doesn't really matter whether you're already enrolled or not, except that if you're already enrolled for February, it's a different story. But if you're not enrolled yet and you're considering between the two, then it looks like we have 3 options. So first option is you take your level 1 exam in December. Okay, now if you're taking your level 1 exam in December, it's going to be a paper-based examination. That means the same old format. You would have to travel to that particular exam center, and you would have to follow the same 6-hour format. Now, the date for registration for this is 19th of August. So if you're someone who's already chosen December, then I think you're covered. You don't need to do anything. But if you're someone who got pushed from the June exam, June 2020 exam to December, and you have kept your options open, you've not registered yet, and you feel like you want to go for the December exam, then the right date for you is going to be the 19th of August, where you'd have to close your registration on the CFA portal. And then what happens? So let's say if I take my level 1 in the month of December, then what happens is I get to write my level 2 in the month of May 21. But the May 21 level 2 is going to be a computer-based test. So what you get is roughly a 5-month window to prepare for level 2 in between. And within that window, you not have to finish the curriculum, but you'd also have to save some sort of a time for yourself to write a few mock examinations. Plus, you'll also have to consider that I'm considering time from December, but roughly first 45 days, your results will not be announced. Correct? So your results are not announced. So you're studying for level 2 even before you've got your level 1 results, which a lot of people find very difficult. So we'll talk about that a little more. And then if you write your level 2 in May 21, and let's say everything works for you and you manage to pass, then you get to write your level 3 in November 21, which again is going to be a computer-based exam. You get about 6 months in between. So seems like a phenomenal option. If you're a highly motivated student, you feel you have reasonable amount of time for yourself to prepare on. December, May 21, within a year, you're done with all the 3 examinations. If you have the ability and the skill set to pull it off. Second option, you feel like, you say, Utkarsh, I don't want to go too aggressive. December seems like far-fetched for me. I would like to opt for February. Or you're someone who's already registered for February, you're already registered for the computer-based test. Then what happens? If you're writing your level 1 in February 21st, then you get to write your level 2 in August, right? So you get a 6-month interval in between. And then you get to write your level 3 in the May window, so May 22nd. And this becomes your level 3, and this is where you finish the program. So which means, if you're a student and if you're trying to decide between whether you should go for the December level 1 or whether you should go for the February level 1, because I'm sure that's the question we have. So the question is that First question you ask is, do I want to go paper-based or do I want to get the CBT exam? So that's first question. And second question is, when you finish the program, there's a window of about 6 to 7 months here, right? Here you finish in November 21st, and here you finished in May 22nd. There is also a third option, which is not clearly visible, but I think it's also very strategic option, is you still take the December 20 level 1. And then what you do is you don't take the immediate level 2, you give yourself a little bit of time. And instead of taking your level 2 in May 21, you go for the August 21 option, right? So what you do is in this window, you give yourself 8 months. And then if you take your level 2 in August, then you get to write your level 3 in May 22nd. So this is where your level 3 comes. So what is my suggestion here? And again, it really varies, depending on what geography you're in and what is the COVID situation in your geography. But from a strategy perspective, here is how I would have decided. If I were a full-time student, which means, I'm not really doing anything else. I don't have a job. I don't have any other responsibilities to worry about. I would like to work, but apparently there are a shortage of jobs in the market or whatever. If I'm a full-time student, I would probably be inclined to go for option A, which is not easy. I'm probably going to, wear out myself in that window. Very aggressive. But if you're a full-time student, you're not working. Anyways, the visibility of getting a job now seems a little bleak. You might as well leverage on this time, go aggressive, and finish all the 3 levels by November 21st. Right. So all the full-time students, if you'd ask me, this is going to be my preferred route, where I take December paper-based exam. A little bit of trouble. I might have to travel. I'm also exposing myself to a little bit of risk. Again, depending on what is the COVID situation then. But I'm being a little aggressive with my career planning. I'm saving myself those extra 6 months. When the job market opens, I quickly jump on, and then I don't have to worry about passing another exam. But if you are a working professional and you feel like you have a full-time job to worry about and you have a family to take care of, and then if you have to choose between December and Feb, I would still recommend you to go for December level 1. But for full-time students, the option that I would be recommending you is the December 20 level 1, and then take a larger break for the level 2, which is of 8 months, right? Because out of all the 3 levels, in general, level 2 is considered the most challenging one. In terms of syllabus, there's some sort of a jump in terms of how level 1 migrates to level 2. So from that perspective, you would be giving yourself 8-month window here, and you would be giving yourself 9-month window here. So for working professionals or people who have limited time and who are trying to manage multiple things together, C looks like a more pragmatic option. But if you're a full-time student, A looks like a more pragmatic option. If you're someone who's already enrolled for February, then you don't have a choice. This is the option you're going with, right? Now, what option you can always explore is you can decide to defer one attempt, but then that would not be very strategic. So this is how you would probably, make a decision frame for yourself. Now, if you want me to answer a specific question for you, just put it in the comments later on, and I'll try and answer it for you. Now, some of the dates and some of the actionable points that if you are a postponed candidate and you've not really chosen on which attempt you're going to go, and if you want to go for December, the deadline for you is August 19th. If you've already chosen December, you don't want to push it, then you don't need to do anything. And if you want to go on any of the 2021 exams, then the date for you is going to be October 20th, right? So just keep some of the dates in mind. All right, so with this, level 1 gets over. Hopefully I was able to answer most of your queries. Let's look at level 2 now. Now, level 2, you get in 2 choices here. The first choice that you have is that you write the exam here in December, which is going to be a paper-based exam. You get 5-month window here, and then you get to write the May 21 level 3 examination, right? So that's one option you have. Your level 2 is already being pushed and you've kind of reached to this level 2 after anyways having taken a large break. So it kind of makes sense to go and write this level 2 paper based exam. But if you feel that December is something you cannot pull off for whatever reason, you feel like you're not ready for December, based on your personal situation or the COVID situation, then the next option you have is you go for May 21, and then you get to write the November 21 level 3. Now, because now that we have exam twice a year, the penalty which used to be 1 year earlier for pushing an attempt, now that is 6 months, right? So we have a little bit of flexibility there. Again, personally for me, if I were a student, uh, and if I have been given this choice, what the way I would approach this is, I would say that anyways, I have been studying for level 2 for some time, and if I have already studied for level 2 for some time, that means at least some part of the curriculum is over for me. At least I know how the syllabus is. So there is no point procrastinating it. I would rather go aggressive. I would try and write December 20 from a study perspective. Of course, there would be other logistic issues, in terms of where the exams are conducted, availability of seats, geography, the possibility of cancellation. Keeping all those things aside, purely from a student perspective, I think this option makes more strategic sense, as against going for the May 21. There's no reason why you should push it for 6 months. That's what I feel. Level 3, same story. You have December 20, you have December 2021. Now, this is going to be paper based, this is going to be computer based. Again, for me, computer based at this moment is a black box. No one really knows how the exam is going to be, especially for the level 3, because level 1, level 2 doesn't matter. It's MCQ. You do it on a computer, you do it on a piece of paper, it's just the same thing. But for level 3, especially on the morning, how do you write your constructed responses? Can you still use those nice little tricks? Can you use those nice little flowcharts anymore? uh, how is the grammar going to be evaluated? All those things are still a black box. So if I were a level 3 candidate, I would say myself, there is no significant reason for me to push my exams to May 2021, unless and until there are some other issues, right? The COVID related issues or logistic issues. So again, I would have an inclination to go for December 2020, write the exam and get done with it. And probably you would be the last batch of the guys who never got to saw the CBT exam format, right? You kind of just escape the whole CBT business and you manage to finish it off in the paper based format itself. So this is the general options, and these are my views. Now, there are also some small changes which I was able to find on the institute website, that I would like to take. I would take another 5 minutes for them, and then I would be open for your Q&A. So first is the length of the exam, right? That's an obvious question that we would have. That okay, if the exam is 4.5 hours, how will they modify the questions? So it's fairly straightforward. What they're saying is the length of all the exams will be shortened so that the testing time is reduced from 6 to 4.5 hours. Number of questions will be reduced so that candidate will have the same average time per question that they had under paper-based testing. So which basically means level 1, you will have 180 questions under the new format, under the CBT format. Level 2, you would have 90 questions. That looks like we will have a breakup of 45-45. And this looks like we'll have a breakup of 90 and 90, morning and afternoon. And then in level 3, we'll have the AM section. And then you'd probably have 45 questions here, right, in the afternoon. That's roughly how it looks like, how they're going to break down. Then second, will it have any impact on pass or fail? Will the CBT be more difficult, less difficult? Will it reduce its value? So here's what CFA Institute has to say. And it's kind of very interesting how they're putting it up across. This thing, after intensive analysis, this is coming directly from the CFA FAQ. One of the things we discovered is that reducing the length of the exam would not have material impact on pass or fail decisions. In other words, after 4.5 hours of testing time, we've gathered enough information to determine whether candidates should pass. And then the analogy that they've used, they've said, it's just like you expose yourself to a thermometer long enough for mercury to adjust. You're able to obtain the current temperature reading. Keeping thermometer exposed for longer does not lead to superior measurements, right? That's what they have to say. Now, here's what I feel about it. My view on this, looking at it purely from a statistical perspective, it's a question of sample size, right? And the whole idea is that exam is basically a sample of the entire population of questions that could be tested. So what they're saying is, originally our sample size used to be 240 questions for level 1. And now we feel that even 180 questions is a good enough sample size, right? That is the statistical analysis that they've done. Now, to me, from a candidate perspective, if you would ask me, what it does is, and how I'm approaching it is, that me becoming a little unlucky, probability of that improves, because it just a shorter number of questions also reduces my probability of, or my margin of error. For example, let's say, level 1 hypothesis testing, I knew everything, but I did not know F test, right? And let's say one F test question shows up on the exam. I'm not going to answer that because I did not study for it. So earlier, the number of questions that I'm going to lose in probabilistic terms is going to be 1 by 240. But now the number of questions that in percentage term, what I'm going to lose is going to be 1 by 180, which is going to be higher. So that kind of increases your risk a little bit. But I'm sure, they know what they're doing. Another interesting thing with this is that even with 180 questions, not all questions would be graded. Okay, I'll take you there. And that kind of makes the whole business very interesting. So the first few attempts of CBT would be, I think, a learning curve for all of us in terms of, how the results come and what would be a good study strategy. So that's something that needs to be explored further. Then they also, very interesting, this is especially for the level 2 exam. So what we know is traditionally level 2 used to have 10 questions, 10 item sets and 6 questions each. And then last year they introduced this new item set where they started putting 4 questions there. Now what I think is, I think that as we progress and we have 3 or 4 rounds of CBT, the number of 4 question item set might improve or might increase with time, right? And the whole idea with this is, if I have a 6 question item set, I'm kind of committed to it, right? So the more number of 6 question item set I have, the lesser area of curriculum I can test. But if I reduce my item set to 4 questions, it gives me ability to test a wider range, correct? So that's what I'm thinking here. Now, what CFA Institute has to say on this is this. Until last year, the length of the item set questions were standardized to 6 multiple choice questions per vignette at both L2 and some of the L3, the afternoon part. Last year, we began introducing some item sets with 4 multiple choice questions per set. The mixed length of 4 and 6 will continue, and so the total number of item sets on the exam may vary slightly. So now we are not going to say that we will have 10-10 or 8-8 or 6-6 cases on the exam. It's going to be variable, and it's going to be a mix of, there would be some item sets of 4 questions and there would be some item sets of 6 questions, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Then another very interesting concept is this concept of pre-testing questions, right? So this is something, again, I want to study a little bit more, but here is what Institute has to say about this. What they say is that now this new type of papers will include a few trial questions. And what are these trial questions about? So these questions will not contribute to candidates' score. So how many of these trial questions? I'm not sure. There used to be one page on the CFA site. I'm not able to find that page anymore. But let's say out of 180 questions, maybe 10, 15 or 20 questions would be trial questions, which means for answering those questions, you would not be given any marks at all. So even though it looks like it's a 180 question test, if 20 questions are trial questions, it's actually a 160 question test. But you do not know which those 20 trial questions are going to be. Then why are they putting it? So they're putting it onto the exam so that they will see how you answer it. And then based on your answering, they will decide if it should be included in the future test. Right. So that's what they're calling this as a pre-testing. And they're saying it's a fairly common practice with major testing organization. So I wasn't aware of it. This is something new that I've learned, but definitely something that I would like to learn a little bit more about. Then the next question you want to ask is, will the results be announced faster, right? Because now that they're taking exams online, will they still take those 45 days or will they try and announce the result a little faster? And here's what they say. We say we do not anticipate results to be released significantly faster, right? So that's again interesting perspective. So we're still looking at a 40-45 day window for announcing results. 2020-2021 curriculum remains same. So that's a good news. That was announced earlier itself. So the topics we have in 2020 syllabus, the same are going to remain in 2021. Then there's also some discussion on invoicing option. Okay, so what is this invoicing? When you go on the last page of the, when you're trying to enroll, at the top, it gives you a drop down, which allowed you to generate invoice. And by generating invoice, you could avoid making payment through a credit card or debit card. You could do something called as a Swift transfer, right? So you could walk into your local bank and tell them, this is the account I would like to transfer. A lot of people used to use that option because what it did is, let's assume that last date for enrollment was 19th of August. What people used to do, they would generate invoice on 18th of August. And if you generate invoice on 18th of August, you're still within that deadline. And then that invoice used to tell you that you can register for a month after that. I mean, you can pay within a month's time. Now, typically Swift processing used to take 7 or 8 days. So candidate used to have that additional credit window of 23 odd days, right? Where they could defer making the payment. Now what they're saying is, they're saying that this invoicing option will be available from 2021 only for the early registration window. So if you are trying to do the standard registration, which is a second window or late registration, this option is not going to remain available, which in all likelihood, in my opinion, would basically mean that you will have to make payment through either a credit card or debit card. A bank transfer might not work, is what I'm thinking right now. And finally, they have a one-time refund policy here. What they're saying is that your exams were postponed in June 2020. And let's say you decide to sign up for the December 2020 now, whatever next exam you sign up for. And for some reason, that exam is postponed as well, right? And you're completely frustrated because you prepared twice and you could not write the exam. You can write them an email and you can tell them that, I would like to get a refund. And will they process your refund? Yes. However, the fine print says that what refund you'd get is you would get the registration fee, which is like your exam fee. I think you would not be given refund for your enrollment fee. At least that's what my understanding is, based on what I've read on their website. You would not be given refund of those $450 of enrollment fee. However, that amount remains with the institute. And then in future, when you decide to sign up for any of the exam, then you don't have to pay this again. Then you only pay the registration fee, and then you're good to go. Right. So that's it from my side. I think I've covered most of the finer points that I wanted to cover. Now, next 20 minutes, I would be answering queries on the YouTube chat box. So whatever queries you have, you can try and type them in, and I'll try and answer them one by one. Okay. So this is a question which is coming from a level 2 candidate, and the question is about preparation time, right? So question is asking is, Utkarsh, what do you think if we take this level 2 exam? Let me put level 2 on the screen. If we take the level 2 exam in December 2020, and we take level 3 in December 21, then is that time sufficient? So again, there is no yes or no easy answer for me to give you here. But in general, whether 5 months or 4 months or 6 months are sufficient, that is a function of how much time you can devote for studies. So my calculation is very simple. On an average, like for an average candidate who's not very smart, like most of the people like you and me, we would probably need, CFA Institute says 300, but in my opinion, I think 500 is a more reasonable estimate, just because the competition is so intense now. So 500 is, what we need to prepare for. Now, if you're someone who can save 100 hours a month, right? 100 hours a month for you, 5 months is a good window. Now, how do you save 100 hours a month? So you roughly need about 25 hours a week. Now, how do you get 25 hours a week? So Monday to Friday, you do 2 hours a day, and Saturday, Sunday, you do another 7 hours a day. That gives you 25 hours a week. That gives you 100 hours a month. That gives you 500 hours in 5 months, and then it is definitely doable. So whether CFA level 2 or level 3 exam, can you pull it off in 5 months window? My counter question to you is this: that do you have 2 hours a day to invest on a weekday, and can you afford to invest all your Saturday and Sunday? And on top of that, can you manage to pull off, let's say, at least a 2-week leave? 3 week would be even better. If the answer is yes, then 5 months is doable, right? But if the answer is no, if you feel that no, Utkarsh, I can't put in all of my weekends because I have to spend time for family or whatever, then I think you should choose for a longer window. Okay, now how about FinTree extensions? So how about the FinTree course extension? So all of you who enrolled for June, because the exams were cancelled, automatically your accounts were extended till December, right? Because there was no choice provided by the CFA Institute. Now, after that, if it comes a situation where the exams are cancelled, for whatever reason, and you do not have a choice, and you are being pushed to write the next exam, then your extension would be extended without any incremental cost. You would have to reach out to the admin team and they'll fix it for you. But if you have chosen not to write December and you have chosen to write, let's say one of the 2021 exams, then there would be an incremental fee, and that really varies on which product you've signed up for and for how many months you would like to extend it. So you can just reach out to admin, and then those guys will help you get a solution to it. Okay. Let me try and answer next question. This is coming from Nishant Desai. Nishant is saying, level 3, if handwriting is not good, then CBT should help. Nishant, I wouldn't agree with that. If you look at my handwriting, it is miserable. I mean, I don't think it can get worse than mine. If you feel this is good, I've actually used the computer software to improve it a little bit, and even after using that software, it is still fairly difficult. So what I would say is, if I manage to pass level 3 with my handwriting, I'm sure anyone can manage to pass. So handwriting is not a concern. I don't think you should be worried about that. I still feel, level 3, at least the AM paper was better suited on a paper rather than typing, just because it gave you flexibility to draw those flowcharts, and you can show it in a graphical way. I'm not sure how easy it is going to be for a completely CBT format for a level 3 morning, right? That is something that needs to be seen. And that is why I'm slightly inclined towards taking the level 3 in December, just because we know how to write the answers, and we know how the paper is going to be. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, let's see what we have next. Someone is asking, I have registered for December 2020 level 1. Can I defer to Feb 2021? Lokesh, yes. To my knowledge, yes, you have that option. So you will just have to log into your CFA portal, and I think Feb 2021 option is already available, so you should be able to push it to the in fact, I think they'll let you choose between any of the 2021 CBT exams, so you have flexibility there, so you can choose between the three. Okay, can we change the center if the exam doesn't happen in our state? I think so, Vinita. I think you should be allowed to change the center. Uh, but what I feel in that case is, let's assume that you're registered to write the exams in Mumbai, for example, and for some reason Mumbai exams do not happen, and you consider writing in Bangalore. Uh, I think traveling is not going to be very easy because if exams are not happening in Mumbai, that means the situation is not very good, right? And if the situation is not very good in Mumbai, then I don't think it's going to be better in Bangalore. So seems very unlikely. So even though I think they will allow you to change the centers, I think they will allow you to, uh, choose between different locations. But I just feel that it's not going to be very easy option for us to execute to travel to a different location and write in the current environment. All right, let's see some more questions. If December 2020 level gets postponed, can we take the Feb 2020 then? I think so, Brahmani. So in general, I think, one thing with CFA Institute is, and this is something that I've always appreciated, uh, probably these guys are gold standard for finance certification, and they're also gold standard for how an education institute should be run. So generally very proactive, very customer centric. So if the December exams are getting cancelled, I'm sure candidates will be given a lot of choices in terms of when they want to write the exam. Okay. Can I take level 2 in December and take level 3 in November 2021? Is that a good call? Yes, you can. So really, depends on you. You have that flexibility. So this is where, they've provided you all the options. So let's say if you're a level 2 candidate, this flowchart is available on their website, so you can easily access it. I just took some screenshots and pulled it off. So if you're a level 2 candidate, these are the choices you have. You write your level 2 in December, then you write your level 3 in May. And if you don't want to write your level 3 in May, no problem. You write your level 3 in November 2021 as well. It gives you plenty of time to prepare on. Though, as far as level 3 is concerned, I would say, 5 months, you can pull it off. Level 3 is not so monstrous as level 2 in terms of size. There's a lot of theory and a lot of repetition of stuff that you've already learned. So level 3 with a 5-month window can easily be pulled off. Even the size of the readings is smaller, the number of readings are lesser. So you can decide to use that approach. Or if you feel like you want to go a little aggressive, then you can go December and May as well. So you have plenty of flexibility there. Okay, when will the CFA level 2 classes will start for May 2021? So Gagan, I have not decided that yet. Generally, what I do is I start a level 2 season around September or October preceding year, like what we discussed on the call the other day. But now I'm thinking I'll probably start, new level 2 batch once this December exam is over, the level 1. I think that would just be, a more smart thing to do. So all the people who write December level 1, they would immediately be able to start participating in the level 2 classes. And since, there would be a live classroom, it's going to keep all of you more disciplined, because one of the problem that, we've always experienced is people don't study after writing level 1 till the time results do not come up. So that ways, December level 1 happens and immediately you start with the level 2 sessions. We should be able to wrap it up reasonably well in time for the May examinations. But it's not, I mean, having said that, it's not going to be easy. Of course, there's going to be a lot of efforts required. but it's not impossible. It's definitely doable. Okay. Already enrolled for December 20. If postponing to Feb 21, will it cost extra? No, Nikhil, it will not cost extra. You just have to log in and change it to Feb 21. I don't think it's going to cost you anything. What about the payment scheme? Earlier, we used to have early bird, standard, and late registration. Is it going to be same? Yes, Omkar. So the payment structure is going to remain same. They're still going to have those early bird and standard and late. Um, there is no visibility in terms of if there's going to be a price change. At least I don't think it looks like it will happen anytime soon. But again, if you pricing, it's best to go on to the CFA Institute and look at the information. But to my knowledge, there are no changes in the pricing as of now. Okay, will FinTree have CBT-based mock exams? Gagan, in more likelihood, yes. So we haven't started working on it yet, but we have few months to prepare for it because February is when we'll have. So what we would try to do is we would try to emulate the type of experience candidates would have on the exam, and then try and build a similar type of examination structure. Is exam for 4.5 hours continuous? No, Sangeeta, you get a break. So it's going to be 2.25 hours. That's 2 hours and 15 minutes. Then you can choose to have a 30-minute break, and then you can have another 2.15 minutes. Okay. $400 locations are there for December 2020 as well? No, Nandini. December 2020, we have 192 locations. We will have 400 locations for the CBT examinations. FinTree online videos, will they remain same? Of course, we would be making a few strategic changes, to kind of better align ourselves with the new format. Especially the CFA level 3 AM, I think we have a lot of work to do to adapt to the new format. So I think FinTree videos is continuously changing throughout, and we would be making a lot of changes in all the level 1, level 2, level 3 across the courses. All right, next question. How is the November 21 option for level 3? Is it a safe option? As you mentioned, May 21 is going to be a black box for SA part. So again, November 21 level 3, definitely we will have a little more clarity because we will get to hear experiences of the candidates who've written exams in May 21 level 3. But again, if you're enrolled for December level 3 exam, unless and until you have a very strong reason of why you don't want to write December, I would not recommend you to push the exam. Right. So typically level 3, it requires a lot of motivation. And here is what will happen. CFA Institute is giving you a choice and you might as well opt in. But then what will happen is you would opt into the option. But then what will happen is you would not study again for almost till May. And then somewhere around May, again, you'd feel like I want to start studying, and you'd end up getting into the same situation. So if you don't have any significant commitments, and if you feel like you have sufficient time to prepare on, I would still encourage you to go and take the exams in December, keeping the other part safe, right? The whole logistics and the COVID situation. So as long as that is not worrisome, to me, December still makes strategic sense. You write in December, and then you're done with the CFA program. How will the mock test be FinTree be conducted for level 1 CBT Feb 2021? See, all the CBT exams 2021 onwards, all the FinTree mocks would automatically be put onto a new platform to match ourselves with the new 2020 format. So all the users who've already signed up and you have access to the mock exams, you don't need to do anything. We would be building the technological platform, which will allow you to get an experience. We do not know precisely how it is going to be, but we are going to draw a parallel from how typically GMAT or GRE exams are, and then try and build our testing format accordingly. Okay, I think I've answered enough question. Maybe I can answer last 4 or 5 of them. I have a level 2 session at 7 o'clock today. So I'd probably like to finish in next 5-10 minutes. How the mock exam will be done for December 20 in the current situation online. Arpita, nothing physical. We're not planning to do any physical test or mocks till December 20. Everything becomes online. We would be sharing the PDFs. And you guys would be printing it and writing the test at your own home. Thank you, Lanson. When will CFA level 1 classes start for August 2021? Shah, the entire schedule up to, I think, 2022 for as far as CFA level 1 classes are concerned is already put up on the FinTree site. So just get in touch with any of our guys. They'll help you decide. But as far as level 1 is concerned now, with FinTree classes, my CFA level 1 live sessions, there is a visibility because we've already prepared the calendar for next 14-15 months. So you can just plan accordingly. That's a great question. So let that be my final question now. This question is coming from Meetul. She's asking, is it okay to start preparation for level 2 before the result comes? Now, I'd probably be doing another video on it, at some stage in the future. But this becomes very critical, right? So at the beginning of this session today, I discussed that we have 3 options, right? So where are those 3 options that we discussed here? So if you're a level 1 candidate, you have option A, option B, and option C. And what I recommended if you're a full-time student, and if you have time to invest, and you can go a little aggressive, option A is what is recommended to you, where you do December 20 L1, May 21 L2, and this as L3. Now, the only trick here is that we have only 5 months between the 2 exams. And out of 5 months, almost 2 months, your results will not be announced. Your results come somewhere here. So if you waste this window, then it's almost impossible for you to be ready in time for writing level 2, right? So a very good strategy, if you want to use this route, you will have to start studying the day level 1 gets over. And that is not impossible, especially for full-time students. And I think that's one big advantage you guys have. You're sitting at home, you're not doing anything, or at least you don't have significant responsibilities, and you feel like you can put in time. The day you write level 1 exams, next day in the morning start, and nothing has changed. It's just psychological. You just change the books and you start studying again, right? And just try and build the same momentum for yourself. And if you feel like you can't put that off, you don't want to do it, you feel like you would probably tire yourself out, or you just don't have the bandwidth or whatever reason, then go for option C, which looks like a more slowed down strategic option, where you write L1 in December, you give yourself 8 long months, write L2 9 months, and then you write L3. So it really depends on how fast you can pull up things. Okay, so now I hope you found this session useful. If you still have any questions, you can keep on posting it in the chat box. And this is something new that I'm learning to say now, but please like the video, please comment, and please subscribe. That really helps us. We just, trying to increase the visibility for our channel. And if you guys support, I think that will go in a long way. So once again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. And if there were any questions that I couldn't answer, I have a level 2 class now for another couple of hours. After that, I would be answering all the queries or comments on this particular video tonight. So if there's anything that you feel you want to be answered in a particular way, just put it on the comments after the video gets live, and then I would try and answer it accordingly. So thank you very much. Wish you all the best. Be safe, and I'll connect with you soon.